The Ian Potter Foundation places faith in the outstanding people, the organisations, the ideas. We can come in early when ideas have just been formed.
Until we find another planet, we're stuck here. It's time we started managing this country as if we're here to stay for good. And this project was a really critical step on that journey of learning how to live like Australians in this ancient old continent.
Bring back memories?
It certainly does. I don't know how many hours I've spent poring over these. That's what we started with. Back in 1983, we were at the tail end of one of the worst droughts in recorded history, and land degradation was very obvious. You had massive dust clouds rolling in over Melbourne. This part of the countryside was literally blowing away. There's the raw aerial photograph, and you can just count the live trees. It was a magnificent documentary on the ABC about land degradation in Australia, and it coincided with a meeting of the governors of the Potter Foundation. So over morning tea at one of their meetings, they found themselves all discussing the TV show that they had seen the night before. And one of the governors said, "Why don't we do something about that?" And it was pointed out to them by Carrick Chambers at Melbourne University that we didn't need more research. What we needed was practical demonstrations on farms of what could be done. Here, with the Potter Farmland plan, essentially we were trying to reconstruct landscapes that would work for production, for economic livelihoods, but also for the sustainability of the landscape in the long term. I guess I still pinch myself that I even got this job as project manager of the Potter Farmland plan. I was 24 with $1 million philanthropic grant, which was unprecedented and unheard of at that time. We started transforming those farms by rethinking the whole farm layout. We had a massive works agenda. I forget how many hundreds of kilometres of fencing we had to construct, and a lot of revegetation, a lot of pasture work and a lot of water supply work, and there were so many balls in the air at any one time. The Potter Foundation investment was crucial, and that $1 million investment literally transformed these farms in a very short period of time. But it didn't just make a difference on these farms. We had thousands of visitors through from all over Australia and other countries, and they could see for themselves what was happening on this land. And then that became a catalyst in turn for the National Land Care Program and for a complete rethink of what it means to be a good farmer.
One of the very important things with the Ian Potter Foundation's funding is how we use our funding to leverage government funding especially, but leverage funding from other foundations too.
I remember showing the head of the National Farmers Federation and the head of the Australian Conservation Foundation through here, and both of them said, "Wow, we've got to be scaling this up. How can we do more of this nationally?" And that led in part to the land care proposal we put to Bob Hawke in 1989, which led to a $340 million federal investment over a decade. And land care is now being adopted in 22 countries around the world.
When you look at the vision, the results in Australia with the land care program, that is what our funding is about.
The Potter Farmland plan is one of those candles in the darkness that illuminate ways forward to help society deal with these big, complex challenges. Worldwide, you can't fix climate change, you can't address food security, you can't improve water security without involving agriculture. And we think we've got some of the answers here. So I think the governors of the Potter Foundation can be extremely confident that they sparked something way, way bigger than just changes on 15 demonstration farms here in Western Victoria. And that visionary, somewhat risky investment, you might say, has paid off handsomely.
If Ian Potter was here now, he would be very proud of what he started in 1964 and what it has achieved for people in our community. So the issues facing people over the next 50 years are going to be much more complex, but I have no doubt that the Foundation will continue to uphold the vision and the principles of Sir Ian Potter. One of my hopes for the future is that others will actually contribute to the Ian Potter Foundation, because the more resources we have, the more we're going to be able to do to fund organisations in every field and enable them to carry out projects that will touch people's lives.